Tesla may be preparing a very nice upside move, but first, please, we need to go over the downside so that we can make that upside possible, okay? Let's go ahead and dive into those details now. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again on this fine Monday night. This is ARCa coming at you with a Tesla TSLA, technicals, raw price action, and statistical threat of analysis. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community in Discord called ARCab. With that said, let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, so we are looking at Tesla in the 8-hour chart here. And we're going to start this analysis with the ARC-Series Crypstex indicators. Okay, so we're going to first load up ARC-DBSI. This indicator is actually an indicator that is statistically based. It takes a score of every single candle print particular to the asset's time frame. In this case, we're looking at the 8-hour throughout the entire trading history of it. Okay, so upon taking that statistical value, it actually presents us a percentage strength score. Okay, so in this case, we're looking at the bears leading the way with a 57% over the bulls at 43%. Okay, now DBSI actually gives us a buy and sell signal as well. So the sell signal is actually a red little dot right down here. Okay, so you can see that that signal was printed on December 12th, and we are still suggesting that downside. Okay, we haven't recovered from that. The buy signal is usually this blue little circle here. Okay, so now the downside continuation is very particular though, because Tesla is preparing an upside, but it's very, very sneaky. And I actually had to stare at this chart and really come up with the most creative ways that I can understand the upside. And the upside actually came about in so many different ways, but every single which way that I did figure that upside, it actually ended up with having a downside first. So we do need to continue to the downside first before we can make a statistical upside, of which can be a very nice move. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue on with the analysis. Okay, so the DBSI indicator is suggesting a downside. Another thing we can do is that we can load a 13-period exponential moving average, which is something that's very particular to the ARC DBSI. Okay, so let's go ahead and just remove every other moving average, and we'll focus on one EMA. And we'll make it a bright color so that we can see what we're doing. Okay, so in this case, we'll move the period to 13 for 13-day exponential. And this is another thing that DBSI does. Okay, so DBSI notices the 13-day exponential moving average position. Okay, so in this case, it is above us, which usually is bearish. And you can see that the 13-day exponential has been used as a form of a guide towards the downside. Okay, so DBSI will alert or let you know upon the strength value changes based on the candle structure. Okay, so it'll give you that buy warning before we can cross up to the above the 13-day exponential moving average. Very cool indicator. Okay, you guys. So now let's load up the ARC Enhanced MACD. So this is another indicator that would be in the subscription package for the ARC series indicators. You just have to send me a DM and we'll go ahead and go over those subscription packages. Please know that the subscription package is not it doesn't have anything to do with the subscriptions based on TradingView software. Okay, you guys, as Crypstex, the authors are actually authorized retailers within the TradingView space. Okay, so upon purchasing the indicators, you will then receive access per your username to the private list. Okay, you guys. So yes, we are noticing that the Enhanced MACD has printed just slightly after. Actually, it printed it before. Wow. So this is very aggressive of the Enhanced MACD. It did suggest a sell signal on December 5th, Monday. Okay, so while the DBSI suggested a sell signal on December 12th. So definitely the Enhanced MACD has shown a little more promise than the DBSI in this area, but this is very important to use them in conjunction to see the suggestions that are being presented based on different algorithms that they're built on. Okay, so very, very, very interesting thing here. Let's go ahead and move on to the next chart. Okay, so this is what I mean by it being a very, very sneaky and just confusing way, okay? Because this can trap a lot of people, okay, into thinking that we're gonna move to the upside. The reason why you're seeing like some dim lines down here is because all of these lines do have confluent connections with previous candles, okay? So for example, this lower line here has the confluent target with this candle here, with this one right here, and this one right here, right at the beginning. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. The second trend line actually has a confluence between these red candles right over here that are from December 2nd to December 10th, and also December 15th. Okay, so those and oh yeah, that's it. So yeah, you have various connections. Now the one that we're looking at presently, the one that we're sitting at currently, and I'm talking about, it looks like we're even using it as support in some way, because a lot of people tend to see these formations, okay, just silly formations, but they're still there and people do believe in them. In this case, you can see that we're using it as a form of support, and we have a confluent touch right here on May 20th. We can also see we can also see a confluent touch right on this red candle here on January 25th. We can see the candle touch on December 15th, and yeah, the very first one and the second one actually in November 15th too. So this trend line that we're currently on has the most confluent touches of all the candles from all of the other ones, okay? So this is what I mean by it being very tricky, because momentum, I'm talking about the statistics based on the DBSI, everything is suggesting to the downside except this formation, okay? So which this is actually a psychologically backed support right now that can continue on to the upside, but statistically it's not good. Okay, so in this case, this is why I have several targets for us to look at, and these are very relevant. Okay, first of all, we can face an immediate little tiny bounce in the short term, and please remember, we're looking at this on the 3-day chart, so all of these things can take some time, okay? But as you can see, Tesla does have the power to actually lose some liquidity pretty fast, okay? So in this case, yes, we do have an immediate short-term time frame support at 116, okay? Yes, we can face that 116, but in that event, we would actually test our current lows as a form of resistance alongside the newly converted one of the lines from the from the newly converted support into now resistance, okay? This can be tested before continuing on to the downside and testing our supposed following support line from the descending broadening wedge. Okay, so the other target that I'm definitely looking at is actually going to be the 272 at 110.71. Okay, with a further capitulation, with a further downside, I can actually see that. I mean, this is going to be a little, I don't want to say less likely, but I definitely want to point it out. I want to definitely put it on the table here, because the way the markets are moving, the way the markets are capitulating, it is definitely a possibility. Okay, 99.83 at the 3.618 could be the next confluent support and the last one from the descending broadening wedge. Okay, so pardon me. Okay, so now it doesn't mean we can't actually face a capitulation candle, meaning I'm talking about a wick, a fast recovery wick here, a terminal shakeout. Okay, so we can actually see a fast wick down to the 4.618, 91.75 before a quick recovery. Okay, so the reason why I'm saying that a recovery is because of the statistics backing a future upside move. Okay, so let's go ahead and review that upside move now. But actually, one more thing before we move on, please notice that all of these targets are very confluent with all kinds of previous price action. Focus on the horizontal line from the cursor. Okay, I'm going to line it up with this green and move my cursor towards the left so you can see just how confluent these targets are with previous price action. Take a look at all this. All of these used as support right at the 4.618. Okay, look at the 3.618 being used as resistance from those lines right there, and you can see that the 2.272 is also being used as support here. This was a resistance here. We can actually see this as direct support. All kinds of resistances right here as well. Okay, you guys, so definitely some very important important areas of confluence here. Okay, so we can definitely see them as relevant targets. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next chart, as this is going to be the statistical side of the analysis, of which I can show you a potential upside. For the new viewers, new listeners, okay, you are looking at BBWP right here. This is volatility. Okay, now volatility is direction neutral. In order for us to get a bias for that direction, we actually pair it with an indicator named stochastic momentum. Now, stochastic momentum is proprietary to TradingView software, and actually, which by the way, there is an affiliate link down below, as I have been accepted in their affiliate program, in TradingView's affiliate program, and you signing up to TradingView would actually greatly help my future in trading. Okay, you guys, so please consider that if you do need a platform to trade in, as I do value this software very much so. Okay, so now the particular backtest that I ran was volatility versus momentum, and I've actually taken a backtest throughout the entire trading history of the Tesla asset, particular to the bi-daily time frame. Okay, so what I measured was the amount of times that well, let's go ahead and go over those details. Okay, I'll just show you one of the iterations. So anytime that we have expanded into critical volatility, which is within the 90 percentile of the BBWP, and started a contraction phase to the downside alongside the stochastic momentum making an upside pivot, I've actually taken that iteration's duration, I've actually taken the iteration's upside thrust, and the amount of times that volatility versus momentum profile have guessed the upside correctly versus incorrectly. Okay, so that gives us a statistical mean, and that mean is actually represented right over here for us. So you're looking at a total of 20 iterations throughout the entire trading history of Tesla on the bi-daily chart, of which 16 of those iterations were guessed correctly to the upside, giving us an averaged upside accuracy of 80%, nice round number. And it also gives us an average upside thrust of about 49.384% over the span of just over 36 days. Okay, this is a proof of work. Now, in applying this metric, okay, we can actually see some pretty important targets. So let's just go ahead and take that metric one more time. So that's 49.38. Okay, so if we were to take that 49.38% upside move from the 2.272, let's just go ahead and imply that now. Okay, so we have a 48.3. Right, so I think it's going to be a little hard for us to get super close. There you go. That's going to be good enough. Okay, so now let's make a trend line here, just so that we can see where the statistic upside is suggesting. Okay, so that we can see that we can already have some support here based on this candle. Oh yeah, we can see that this is already a support here, resistance here, resistance. Okay. So there is a lot of confluence within this target as well. So now you can only guess how we can continue moving up the statistical values by the support lines that I'm talking about here. Okay, the other one would be from the 3.618, like we've mentioned, and it can potentially be from the 99-cent zone. So we'll just go ahead and go up those 45 or 48.3%, right? So let's go ahead and just put it there, 48.3. And as you can see, right, again, let's just go ahead and make a little trend line here so that we can see just how confluent that target is, that it is suggesting from that touch. All this as resistance, this as support. Okay, so you can see the relevance of what we're talking about here, okay, based on the targets that we're looking at. Okay, guys, so let's go ahead and move on to the last part of the analysis here, and we'll call it a night for TSLA. So please do know that I am looking for that downside first. First of all, the immediate short-term time frame. This is the 30-minute immediate short-term RSI. Okay, RSI is the relative strength index for the new viewers. This pink line represents a 14-day simple moving average. The purple line represents the RSI signal itself. Please take a look at these 4 zones right over here, as I will be speaking about them very often. Okay, those 4 zones are actually representing these 4 zones on the RSI. Okay, you guys, so please notice that the immediate short-term time frame is suggesting a continuation to the downside while sitting very much in the grips of the bear strength percentile. Okay, so as we sit in these deep areas and continue on to the downside, we'll eventually reach the deeper areas of the bear strength percentile, and that would be suggesting a gravitational pull right down into the following zone, which would be the oversold percentile. Okay, so now Now, the bi-hourly time frame is suggesting a slight downside. The only thing good here is the fact that we do have the moving average below us. Okay, so as we continue on to the downside, there is the potential to use the moving average as a form of support. Okay, but that's not guaranteed. We're going to have to take a look at this live and see how that reacts to the price action as it comes. Okay, so now the 6-hour time frame is suggesting a slight downside as well. We do have the moving average above us. Okay, and as you can see, the moving average has been used as a guide to the downside, or almost a type of trend line regression, okay, rejection type of thing. So now we are using it as a form of resistance, and there's no reason why we couldn't use it again, but it's still pivoted towards the downside. Moving average is still suggesting downside as well. Now, the one that I want to give more credit to is actually the upper time frames, the higher term time frames. First of all, the daily is very much in the oversold percentile, still suggesting some downside. Weaker pivot, but it's still downside nonetheless. The buy daily is same thing as the daily, in the oversold percentile, and suggesting a weak downside pivot. But as we move up, you can actually start to see that the time frames RSI is actually suggesting more of a continuation onto the downside. So there is the potential to where we can look at the weekly still suggesting a continuation to the downside, all as well as the bi-weekly. So I am definitely looking at Tesla making a continuation to the downside for quite some time until we can actually reach potentially these lower levels and actually test the lower lines of the broadening descending wedge. So this can take some time, but it is prepping a nice move. Okay, we do have to keep an eye on this and see if we can make a play happen on the Discord. Okay, please know that I'm not a financial advisor. Take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, okay, as I can't suggest for you to buy or sell any assets. All right, you guys. So if you feel like contacting me, I'll make sure to leave the links in the description below for Discord and Twitter. Don't hesitate. I'll try to reach out to you. I know that there's a lot of people who have been wanting to talk to me, but I can't reply. It's just I'm getting a little buried in messages. Okay, you guys, but I'll try to get to you as soon as I can. Another thing is don't fall for those WhatsApp things on the comments. I definitely don't have a WhatsApp, and I'm not going to give you my phone number first. Okay, you guys, and I will certainly not message you first. Okay, just know that those are scams. Don't fall for that. Okay, they just want to take your money. All right, you guys. Well, with that said, I think that's pretty much it for tonight. All right, so I wish you well, a very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.